Okay, here we have a 4 gallon a minute, 4,200 PSI pressure washer. We're showing basic instructions on how to use it. First thing you want to do, hook up your pressure hose. If you're using a garden hose that's been sitting out in your yard, turn it on. Let it run for, maybe a minute. Watch it, make sure nothing comes out of it. We've been using this one all day, so we know it's clean, so I'm going to shut it off. So you hook this up to the garden hose inlet on the bottom side of your pump. Nice and hand tight. Spray wand. Hook up an inline ball valve. Since we're running a surface cleaner right now, it's a high pressure ball valve, so we can switch attachments without having to shut off the machine. So we're hooked up right there. Always start the machine with the garden hose hooked up. Never start a pressure washer without the garden hose hooked up with the water turned on. Now this one has an open bypass on it. We've done that because we're selling this to a company who has multiple employees and they might not have a lot of experience, and what that does is when you have the handle pulled, not very much water is going to come out of there. When you let go of the handle, it's going to dump water out of the bypass and keep letting garden hose water in. You can let this machine run all day long with the handle pulled or not pulled. It will not overheat like this. Typically, this hose goes back into the inlet right here and it recirculates the water. If it is hooked up like that, you don't want to let it run for more than a minute with the gun not being pulled, or it can overheat and destroy your pump. You'll have to have it repacked at best. So, here's your on and off switch. You turn that on. This is a brand new machine. So we have to add some fuel to it. We're just testing it, so we're just putting enough in here to make it run for a minute. And one thing important about these Hondas, this gas cap has a coal filter inside of it. If you fill this gas cap all the way to the top, it can get into this gas cap and clog it and not let air come in to displace the fuel. So it's best to try to just come up to this little lower line on that notch right there where my fingernail's catching and stop putting in gas there, or you can get a clog there and it will shut your motor down and you'll be very frustrated. So back to our switch on. This is your choke on and fuel on that way. Sometimes when traveling with these things or storing them, you want the fuel off, but we're putting it on because we're going to start it now. See, I shut the machine off. I'm now shutting the water off. Just because that machine is off does not mean that there's not pressure in this hose. There could be pressure in this hose, so if you have the gun hooked up, never point that at yourself or anyone to rinse your hands off, because the pressure is trapped between the unloader and the gun. And I have seen myself, people get very hurt badly from the trapped pressure with the machine off, so never rinse yourself off with the gun. And this is a downstream injector. How this works is you put this in a bucket of whatever solution you want to put on. This is a 20% injector. You put your black tip on and it will draw whatever you're putting into this. When you're done using this, it's best to put it in a bucket of water, rinse it out, and that will make your injector last longer. Another thing that is good to do for your attachment, pick it up with your tip towards the ground, pull it, release all your water out for storage. That storage in there, if you store without water in there, it likes to deteriorate stuff. So, that's your basic instructions for using a pressure washer. Good luck and have fun.